All right, we're back with another edition of SVG On Demand, back with the At the Ballpark series. I have a real pleasure now to speak with a fellow Brooklynite and current neighbor of Astoria, Queens, Joe DeVito. He's the executive producer of content and marketing for the New York Mets. Joe, how are you doing? How is everyone? Obviously, I could throw the baseball and ask you how you're doing, but how are you doing right now? How's the team and how's everything going?
Doing great, man. I mean, we're just happy to have baseball back. I know it's not exactly how we all grew up watching it, but we're happy to be back. We're happy that, for the most part, everybody's staying healthy. And, we just want to continue to win some games and have a good season. So we're doing all right. Thanks.
Awesome. So when you go to the ballpark, you're at Citi Field. Everything's a little bit kind of different. Can you kind of take us through game day operations, who's allowed where, who, when, how long, and what's the operations in the control room right now?
Sure. I mean, we all worked very closely with MLB on a plan. Obviously with 30 clubs, we're all in the same boat. So MLB's been great in helping craft policy and guidelines. And our front office has been incredible at even doubling down on some of those things to ensure health and safety. That's been our number one priority. It's broken up into tiers. It's the simplest way to put it. Tier one is uniform personnel, so players, coaches, bullpen catchers, and I guess grounds crew would even be tier one. Anyone who's going to be near players and on the field. And then you've got tier two, which is sort of the support staff behind the scenes, clubhouse attendants, and public relations folks. And then the rest of us are in a tier three, which is basically that creates a nice separation between us and any players, and possibly mess up anything with those guys and get anyone sick. And that is our, productions and social media teams who support each game and in a way to capture content to get it out to our fans. So we're a tier three level group, and we show up to the ballpark every day, and we stay far away from everybody and just do our jobs.
Right. Okay. Before the game starts, you guys were approached to do something unique for the broadcasters. I know I've spoken to the other teams. We're all living in a world where you guys, the RSNs, are supplying national broadcasts, but you play a role with the audio on the feed. And when you were approached with that, did you have a little bit of a run through, a little cold run with your team, have a little sit down meetings? What were the kind of the process before actually getting started?
Yeah. It's funny. It all started to unfold. I mean, you can imagine, the whole season kind of, it was up in the air for a while. And then once we realized we were going to have one, it kind of just steamrolled into very quickly, ramping up into our summer camp, AKA spring training 2.0.
Right.
So during that process, while baseball operations was dealing with what it meant to have, 60 guys show up for camp and then breakaway camps out in Brooklyn and all that, we were working with MLB on atmosphere and how to make that a normal-ish setting for the players and for broadcast for the fans at home. So we, working with the league, we realized that Sony PlayStation had a bunch of recordings of actual fans from ballparks, from each of our ballparks, and that they used for MLB to show the video game. So it was a natural thing to say, well, hey guys, can we kind of borrow that stuff back and see how we can use that to create a sense of normalcy and also to allow on-field integrity, because I don't think anybody at home may not realize, but when there's 30,000 people in a ballpark, you can't hear what the other dugout is saying. You can't hear the mound visits. With an empty ballpark, you can hear a pin drop. It's cavernous. And so we knew that we had to implement some kind of a layer of sort of white noise and fan noise in order to give the players that sense of comfort, to allow coaching to happen in a sense of privacy. So it took a couple of weeks and we kind of worked through it, but MLB put together all of our crowd sounds where it's really a dashboard on an iPad. So we have our neutral crowd sounds. That's just your general buzz. That's always going. It's just that drone of chatter.
Right.
And then on that dashboard, you've got, positive reaction 1, positive reaction 2, disappointed. You have some chants and things that are more unique to each club, a little "Let's Go Mets" chant, a build up during a 2-strike count where, normally the ballpark would be, getting louder for your home team. And it's really become a very important position. It's almost like a DJ. I mean, we're scoring the game.
Yeah.
And we're giving that feed to our RSN. We're giving that feed to our radio broadcast. And, they're able to adjust levels, because I think the announcers also want some of that in their headphones, to make sure that they feel a little sense of normalcy as well. And, it's been a work in progress. I don't think anyone has created anything that's perfect out of this. I think we've all tried a couple of things. They work, they don't work. I know some fans are into it and some fans aren't, but we're doing our best. And it's been a really fun thing to sort of play with the buttons and see what we can do to make it feel like a real game.
Right. It's something new that everyone's kind of dealing with. Another thing that's new with fans not being in the stands, unfortunately, you guys are still putting on a show on the video board with Elements. Take me through what's being played there. And I'm also interested to see, when you guys usually go to a commercial break, you guys are still usually doing the stuff for fans when they're inside the stadium. Now that, that may not be the case, I'm not sure, but are you guys still going through with all that kind of engagement stuff, even though no one's there?
Yes, to an extent. I mean, clearly we're not doing the same amount of effort that we would be if we had a packed house.
Right.
But we have, first of all, the players really enjoy the replays. They depend on the replays to see where they did, well or not well. So replays have been, I would say, mostly on par with, where it would be if there are fans. As far as entertainment goes, we still play our hype video when the Mets take the field. I think that, we like to think that gives the players a little,
some juice.
Yeah, exactly. Pumps them up a little bit. And then we play rally videos, when we're going into the later innings and we want to juice them up again. And, we like to, when we look down and we see the players looking up at the board and watching it and enjoying it and kind of hitting each, maybe not touching each other.
Sure. We got to make sure we're all staying.
and, kind of laughing that they're up on the board. So we give them that. And then on the business side of things, of course, there's sponsorship obligations. Yeah. So there are a couple of things that we've retained from any other year that we would be, that we play in park, just for the small amount of eyeballs that are in the ballpark, but also that we echo out onto social media. And sometimes in conjunction with our RSN, like our Fiserv Veteran of the Game, we, and SNY, we broadcast that stuff in park, on social, and on air because, first of all, the veterans are a big, it's a big thing for us. It's been very important to the Mets to honor military veterans. And there's sponsorship stuff in here. So we try our best to create that same sense of normalcy, but compared to a year where we would have an open, house with fans, it's been a lot less. But yeah, we're still keeping it going, and a lot of music.
Right.
The players.
You can never get enough music, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, maybe things have probably changed since day one, opening day at Citi Field, to now. What challenges have you and your team kind of encountered, and how have you kind of kept nimble and flexible and adjusted the plan as you've gone on?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one of the great things about the production side of baseball is that production in general is about being nimble. It's about being flexible. You have a plan, you have a schedule. It rarely goes exactly how you want it, so you're used to just kind of, going with the flow and making adjustments along the way. I think some of the challenges that we've had was, obviously we have a much smaller staff than we would normally have. We only brought in the absolute essential people that we need. So, there might have been a little bit of luxury in having a few extra folks in the control room or behind the scenes to take care of some of our stuff, like cutting out of town game breaks from, to see what's going on around the league. And, a lot of people have had to take on maybe 2 or 3 additional responsibilities. In addition to that, leaving yourself a lot more time to get into the ballpark, the very strict screening process that I'm really proud that our organization is keeping with. And we all feel like it's been working really well and keeping us safe. So there's a sense of, safety when you get there, but it takes a little bit of time. So that's a challenge. You can't run around. You can't maybe get the camera angles that you normally want. So it's been a challenge to us, and a positive challenge to say, how do we still deliver high quality content and bring the fan into the game without having as much access as we would normally have. I mean, there are times I would have a camera follow, Pete Alonso into the clubhouse after a big win and see high fives in the clubhouse. Can't do that anymore. So we rely on collaboration with the rest of our staff, different access levels, the way we would normally do for like a road game if we weren't there. And everyone's just been great at trying to kind of fill in those blanks that are now part of the normal situation we're in.
Joe, before I let you go, this is kind of the time to kind of give props to your team. Is there anyone that you'd like to mention, or if your team may watch this, what do you want to say to them and kind of give them kudos because you guys are doing great work?
Wow, I mean, first of all, my team is there's nothing that I could possibly be talking about here without those folks. From the marketing side to the production side, social media, creative services, everyone has been unbelievable throughout this entire weird sense of new normalcy or whatever we're calling it. I will give one specific shout out. Our director, the guy who directed every game, cameras, all of the sponsorship content in between innings, amongst a million other things, Vito Vitiello, has, after 28 years, this was his 28th opening day. His last day with us was on Friday, August 7th. He's going to spend some more time with his family now. He's going to work on a family business. So props to Vito for, really a lifetime of service to the New York Mets, and props to, Brendan, Josh, and Bobby on my team who are stepping up and filling in those shoes. So I'm very lucky to work with incredible people, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to give them a little love.
Sure, of course. It takes a village, and you're only one of the villagers out of a big one. So first of all, Joe, thanks for taking the time. Really great work you guys are doing there. We're both New Yorkers. We're New York tough. We'll get through this, and hopefully we'll have fans in the stand sometime soon. So thanks for taking the time. Hopefully I see you around the neighborhood.
Thanks, absolutely. I hope so.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Take care.